Hello Cancer, this is a timeless reading for you. I'm using my own cards, my medieval oracle deck. In the middle of your reading, we have the King, and I feel like he comes up as a positive card. I mean, in a bad way, kings can be exploitative, obsessed with power, and so on, but he doesn't come up in this way here. You could be the king, you could be in some kind of position of authority in a situation. For many of you, I feel like the king is not you. This is someone who might approve of something or who might even offer you something, because the king is surrounded here by the mermaid, and the mermaid actually when I created this card, I thought of something else, but what I'm seeing here in your reading is some kind of offer. You can see like she's holding this jewel in her hand, and she's looking at the viewer in a friendly and inviting way, but she's not reaching her hand towards the viewer, and I feel like she is clearly showing what she has to offer. Like, it's transparent. Her offer is transparent. Her offer is honest. There's nothing hidden or secret about it. But she wants you to walk towards her. She wants you to take the offer. Like, she's not throwing it into your face. The mermaid and the king could be representing the same person. It could also be that the king is sending the mermaid to make this offer, but ultimately the offer is coming from the king. It could be you, being the king, sending the mermaid to someone to offer something. So this reading doesn't feel very romantic. It could be, if you can relate it to something romantic, but for most of you, I feel like it is more something professional. In the unconscious position, we have the lute, of course. Obviously, the lute can represent music, but it can also just stand for art. It can stand for aesthetics. It can stand for sound itself. And this job offer, if it is a job offer, could be having something to do with sound, music, or art. It could even be that you might be invited to some kind of entertainment show. That could be anything. That could be cinema, a concert, comedy show, whatever. It could be so many different things, but you're not aware of it yet. It could also be that this job offer, or whatever other offer this is for you, could later on in the nearer or even far future lead to another offer that is still very, very hidden, that has something to do with art, music, or just sound. I mean, it could even be sound engineering. It could be that, you accept this offer, but you are not aware that 2 years later, after accepting this offer, by entering this certain job, you will 2 years later enter another field, something very specific that you couldn't even think of now. Like, this job already is something new for you, but as soon as you say yes to it and work on it and get used to it, suddenly it will develop into something even further. And now let me get to the maiden and the sword card. I'm getting this feeling like the maiden is your energy, apprenticeship, but also feeling a little bit like, if she comes up in a negative way, the maiden stands for someone who's being exploited, someone who's not properly appreciated, someone. It can stand for poverty. It can also stand for inexperience, because the maiden also, if she doesn't come up in this classic negative way, there's something about apprenticeship, learning, studying, youth, like just inexperience, which is not a negative thing always. And I feel strongly that she represents your energy, and it could be that you know, with the sword card, you know, swords cut, swords are sharp, they stab. But in this reading, the sword represents destiny, individuality, like the Excalibur sword can only be pulled out by a specific person. And I feel like those two cards together, representing your energies, they mean that when you receive this offer, you might strongly doubt that you are suitable for this position or for this field. You might doubt that this is the right path for you, and you might just feel this sense of self-doubt, and you might feel just a little bit low. Like, oh my God, I'm just this maiden. How could I ever do that? Or you might just worry that you will, let's say you have worked in a certain field for 15 years and you got very used to it, and then you get an offer that maybe either is related to your field, but it goes into a different direction, or it is just something entirely new, and the offer itself is very good, but you are afraid that, let's say you're 45 and you have to learn something new, while you already got used to something and it became a very strong part of your life, and then you are worried if you have to learn something new that you will be, the oldest person in the class or during the apprenticeship, like they all will be 19 years old and you will be 45, something like that. Like there is some worry about starting something new or not being competent enough for whatever is being offered to you. And yes, I already mentioned with the sword card, like you might also worry that it's not the right thing for you, but I feel like the offer will be so alluring that you might say yes. And then, as I said, it could take a long time until after you got used to what is utterly new to you yet now, suddenly it will evolve even further. I feel like I shouldn't be getting into this loot card too much. There's just something in the unconscious position that it's not giving me a lot of details. It is showing up, so I'm allowed to mention it, but it's still supposed to stay a little bit of a secret. Maybe it's some kind of surprise for you, a good surprise. At the bottom of the deck we have the River card, and we also have the Mermaid card, so there is a lot about water. Maybe you will work with something regarding water, or you will just have to travel the ocean, leave the country, even leave the continent. Also, the water reminds me of, just being a metaphor for emotions, waving emotions. So you might go through a lot of mixed emotions when you receive this offer. And don't get me wrong, this is not a terrible offer or a dubious offer. This is a good offer. But you might feel a little bit unworthy of it. Or not unworthy, but, just like, ooh, will I be able to handle this? But I mean, there's nothing really negative here. I'm just thinking if there's something else about this Mermaid and River card. I feel drawn to look at the mountains as well. But not literally. More like a metaphor for something that has to do with height and with climbing. It could be, just represent that you feel like you're on the ground here in the woods, and, it seems like this offer is coming right from the top, and you don't know how to get up there, but yeah, you can't just get up there by just accepting the offer. It feels like you might worry also about the path on how to get from down there to up there. But it seems like, the king is offering you that, and just by accepting that, you might have the strength to climb up there. And I said earlier that the mermaid, she's not, reaching her hand towards you. It's like this. She's very open. Look, this is what I have for you, but I want you to walk towards me, and this might also scare you. Like for some of you, this could literally be moving, having to move somewhere, and this might what you're afraid of. But for others, it's not moving, but it's just, the whole process of learning something new. All this strength that you will have to bring up, all this effort, and you might be afraid that that this effort will be wasted, because you could just fall off the mountain, never reaching the top. But I feel like the king will ensure that you do reach the top, because he's already on it. And he might see that you have whatever it takes to also get there. So I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you for watching.